Hello. Hello, everyone. The time now is 5:05. We would like to officially start our meeting. I am going to give it directly to our Executive Director of Transit, Mr. Kramer.
Thank you. Welcome to our combo hybrid in-person pizza party, public hearing, community input. Many thanks to Brother Cunningham for arranging the donated pizzas and the 2 31-day passes that you can enter to win. Hopefully everyone has their blue. I see some blue raffle tickets around. We'll call out that number when we get to the very end of the input session, but many thanks again for that, helping to get more voices and faces to participate in the process, because it is really important for us to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this is one of the most important forums for us to be able to do that. So appreciate everyone who's come out to speak, to listen, and hear. And so again, to kind of summarize, we have a two-part combo. The first one is going to be an official public hearing, and we keep saying public hearing because that's a federally required step we have to take when we're doing service adjustments. And so it's going to feel a little bit more structured and limiting. So it's just going to be about the proposed service changes. There's going to be a little bit more aggressive on the time limit and things. Once you get through that, you'll hear us say we are closing the public hearing. Then we'll have a regular community input meeting, and then anything goes as far as comments that you may have or questions. And we'll all be around as long as y'all have something to say. And if you want to check in every now and then downstairs, it looked like there was still going to be more pizza left as well. So I think everyone's had a chance. I feel like I'm at a hall. Everyone's had a chance. Now you can go back for seconds. That's okay. So with that, I want to turn it back over to staff to go through our presentation or to do the public hearing. And that's it. So thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Addison Babinski. I'm a planner with DDOT Service Development and Scheduling Division, and I'm going to be talking about our January 2026 service changes. So for routes that are currently operating on a uniform daytime frequency, so that's going to be our AM peak through the midday base and then to our PM peak. We are proposing an incremental reduction in midday frequency between approximately 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. Some of the routes that could be potentially reduced in frequency are going to be 1 Verner, 3 Grand River, 6 Gratiot, 7 7 Mile, 9 Jefferson, 10 Greenfield, 16 Dexter, 17 8 Mile, and 32 McNichols. So these changes are part of a strategy to help stabilize our service reliability. So with these changes, DDOT should be able to have more vehicles on hand for afternoon runs. We may see increased afternoon on-time performance, and we'll be able to better prepare for the addition of PM peak runs in the mid-afternoon. These changes are temporary for most of the routes listed in order to, again, stabilize our service reliability. And before I get to the actual changes, I want to please invite everyone to notify a member of DDOT staff, either through customer service or a future community input meeting if you observe any overcrowding on the buses as a result of these reduced service frequencies. Okay, so for our proposed weekday AM and PM peaks, again, around 9 a.m. and 2 p.m., they're going to remain exactly as they are now. It's the time in between our midday base that we're going to see some frequency changes. So on Verner, we are going to shift from a 30-minute frequency to a 45-minute frequency. On Grand River, we're going to shift from a 10-minute frequency to a 12-minute frequency. On Gratiot, we're going to shift from every 15 minutes to every 20 minutes. On 7 Mile, we're going to shift from every 15 minutes to every 20 minutes. Jefferson, every 10 minutes to every 12 minutes. Greenfield, every 15 minutes to every 20 minutes. Dexter, every 15 minutes to every 20 minutes. 8 Mile, every 20 minutes to every 25 minutes. And then McNichols from 30 minutes to 35 minutes. Again, these are temporary changes to help with service reliability in the afternoons. Okay, along with the frequency changes, we are proposing one route change on the Dexter route in the vicinity of Detroit Mercy. So this is actually a reversal of the change we made in June 2025. So our current routing, as you can see, follows along the east side of Detroit Mercy. So we go down Livernois, over on Puritan, and then down onto Belden. We are going to be restoring the old routing to follow Livernois to McNichols to Fairfield, and then back onto Puritan and finally Belden. And before deciding, we are going to consider public input as well as the results of a before and after segment ridership study and a safety evaluation that are both underway. And that is it for the service changes for January 2026. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Addison. For the public comment, we're going to enter the public comment portion. You can provide your public comment tonight verbally in the chat, or for those online, they will also be able to speak. And what we're going to do, like we've done in the past, we're going to go to the people online first and let them have an opportunity, and then we'll get all the public comment for those that are here tonight. But you must state and spell your name for the record before providing your comment. You will be given 2 minutes, and we will be given that 2 minutes verbally tonight. We don't have the counter, but we will let you know when your 2 minutes is up. If you would like to make a comment after today, you'll have until December 20th, and you can provide those comments by emailing comments@detroitmi.gov, Postal Service attention, November 2025 hearing, Detroit Department of Transportation, 100 Mack Avenue, Detroit 48201. And of course, if you have any questions, you can call our customer service 313-933-1300. And again, also a reminder, as we go into the public comments, we cannot provide immediate feedback. So you are just giving your public comments. So that's for those online or in person. And again, any other discussion can take place in the community input portion. So we're going to start with our first public comment. The caller, tell me. 169, ending in 169. You may do your public comment.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello?
You go and
Oh wow, it's echoing so bad. I just want to say thank you all for praying for Brother Cunningham. Prayer is good, but getting money in Cunningham's hands is better.
Am I coming up across? Sorry. A reminder, this portion is only for the service changes, so your comments need to be directed to the service changes. We do appreciate all the other comments. Again, that will be in the second portion, but we do have to limit comments to the service changes. Restart that time. Time. Okay, we apologize for the technical difficulties. What we are going to shift gears momentarily. We're actually going to go to our persons in person, and then we're going to come back to online.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me? Okay. Hi there. My name's Lucas Lasecki. I'm a frequent DDOT rider and a transit advocate. I wanted to start by sort of expressing the reasoning as I understand it for these changes to show that those of us who know, and hopefully providing context to those who don't. My understanding is that the reason this change is being done is partially because there's a problem where buses from first shift come in and can't be readied in time for them to go out on second shift due to low fleet availability, which leads to delays at peak travel times. So I think with that in mind, I got a little nervous when I heard that service was being reduced, but it seems like these are all very incremental sort of things that will have minimal impact, and it's my impression that this is probably the lowest impact change that could have been made, and hopefully this will bring up on-time performance rates, allowing DDOT to um, promise service that it's able to deliver now until fleet issues are resolved. So um, I guess that's just the long and the short of it is this is the least bad that it could be, and I appreciate DDOT for making that happen. Thank you.
Hi, this is Brian McCullough. Okay, so I have seen a lot of these changes done on and off again, and frankly, I think that from this point forward, and I've brought this all the way up to the mayor's office several times. I brought it to DDOT's attention several times, and and what I want to see is if you can't run me the schedule, you print me the schedule you can run. Now, having said that, when I saw some of these changes, as shorter routes as Verner and Jefferson are, I don't see how that's going to benefit anybody, considering that they're not that long routes. And what's 2 minutes going to do on Grand River in terms of on-time performance? If anything, it would make more sense for that one to be every 15 instead of every 12 during the midday, because that's only going to save them, what, one bus maybe? But again, as long as the bus shows up when that schedule prints it is supposed to show up, I'm all about it.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Robert Plowski, frequent DDOT rider and also transit advocate. First off, I'd like to echo the comments from Lucas here tonight that a lot of clarification is needed, especially with these changes, but I'm superly impressed to see that it's very minimal impact, that service will still be slightly the same with a 5 to 2 minute difference on certain routes, but still will be able to make things more efficient for folks and riders that are commuting on DDOT. So keep it up. I just have one clarification specifically when it comes to the timeline and when this is going to be reinstated, because that wasn't specifically defined with these changes. So what does that look like? Is it 5 months, 10 months? What are we looking at? Because I know that we've got the whole year ahead of us. But other than that, good job. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Joel Batterman. I live in District 5 and I work for Transportation Riders United, or TRUE, which is a group that advocates for better public transit in the city and region. We think it's important to emphasize that any service cuts like the ones proposed have negative consequences for riders. As transit consultant Jarrett Walker says, frequency is freedom, and longer wait times make transit more difficult to rely on. At the same time, we understand that DDOT must be able to reliably fulfill its schedule, and that currently DDOT cannot, given the lack of equipment, that is, buses. We do request that DDOT perform a Title VI disparate impact analysis to assess the implications of these service cuts. This is a disappointing thing to happen, especially after the cancellation of the service improvements that were originally proposed for this fall. And we urge city leadership to take all possible actions to help DDOT obtain the buses it needs as quickly as possible, and to ensure that this is only a temporary bump on the road to further service increases, as envisioned in the DDOT Reimagined plan. DDOT and the city must stay focused on the goal of doubling DDOT service over 2024 levels. Adequate transportation is critical to the future of the city and its people. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Jacqueline, and I would like to say, when it's the routes is like I can't keep up with the routes when y'all change it all the time because y'all don't give us the information when y'all change it. So when y'all change it, people become fearful on the bus and they start arguing and fighting and cussing the bus driver out. But the bus driver failed to tell us that y'all changing the routes because they have jobs and schools on that route. And when y'all change the route, we don't know, the children don't know they way home, and lack of we being late to work or when we get off work. So y'all need to be more aware and remind us and tell us and put it in writing that y'all changing the routes and changing the buses out there because different buses. We riding different buses from different counties. And I be getting nervous and scared. And I don't want to keep on arguing with the bus driver and being angry with the bus driver because they're new to driving the routes too. Some of them, they don't even know where they're going. And the people of our city have to tell them where to go. And if you a bus driver, why we have to tell you where to go? You should know where to go because that's in y'all training. So I feel like y'all should better train these bus drivers, like train them better. Thank you.
Yes, yes, my name is Tanya Jones, and I was having problems getting on the bus because of my bus card.
Can you bring the mic closer to you?
I was having problems with my bus card. Every time I get on the bus, my bus card gives out on the machine, and it's made out of paper. So could y'all please put it back on plastic because it's much better. Thank you.
Yes, and I would like to also reiterate that some of the buses, like the regular buses, be overcrowded, and I would like to also reiterate if y'all can expand the buses, make the buses longer. Okay.
Comment about the service changes? No. Okay. Anybody else have a comment about the service changes? Yes.
Hi, my name is Patty Fedewa, Patty, Patty, Fedewa, F as in Frank, Edewa. My first concern when I heard about the service changes is we don't know how long they're going to last. And saying they're temporary, there's just been a bad history using the word temporary where things haven't always come back to permanent. So that's my first question is how long. And my next concern was I understand why these need to be made. I'm going to address that a little bit more in a second. But my first concern about the changes is the Verner once every 45 minutes it's a large gap. We need frequent service and that's very concerning. The second issue is the Dexter running once every 20 minutes. I find the Dexter unreliable as it is during the day, and 20-minute making it from 15 to 20 minutes, it just seems to draw it out that much further. And so I'm particularly concerned about those two routes. And I would ask that as more buses come online, I guess you move those up first. I realize you're usually limited to the collective bargaining agreement to picks, but if there could even be, if you had more buses available halfway through between picks, I mean, you might want to start with those with increasing frequency, if you could work something out with the drivers. My last issue is that I'm just very concerned that DDOT has a bigger budget now, and I really want, I'm going to say it in these terms, want you to spend it and make sure and use all that money to give us terrific service. And I'm just worried that we're going to have to give the money back at the end of the year when we're making points and actually making steps to double DDOT. I don't want us getting more behind because of what's going on now, and I just want more service. Thank you, everyone.
Any other comments about the service changes?
I don't want to use, I've never used one of those. I don't know how to use it. They kind of freak me out. Okay, my name is Rochelle Bono, ROCHELLEBONO. I think that with a couple of the bus lines, I think that by increasing the time by a few minutes, I can see how it would give it like we're already waiting that amount of time for some of these bus lines extra. So I think that by making it some of them 15, 20 minutes or 20, 25 minutes, I'm not so sure. For me, it'll make much of a difference in the wait. But at the same time, with changing all of these bus schedules, I'm a disabled person and I have anywhere from 3 to 5 doctor's appointments a week, and that's ongoing. And so I have to schedule appointments out months at a time, like so that they're the same time during the day and during the week. And I have to base them upon the bus schedule. So if that's constantly changing as well, it makes it harder for me to make it to my appointments. So that's just another thing to think about.
Yes. My name is Larry Donald Verse, and that's Larry. We skipped the middle name, and the last name is Verse. That's the capital VERSE. That's verse, like in a song or poem, a chapter, verse in the Bible, just so people get it right. Now, well, I guess I should mention I'm a member of a Detroit People's Platform Transit Justice team. And overall, I can understand why the changes that are being made are made, except one. And actually, I laud the department for having the gumption and the gall and to stand up and say, well, we need to do this in order to make it reliable. So the bus will be there when we say we will be there. However, I'm still a bit confused about the changes on Dexter. I don't see. Well, I was confused when they made the first change. I didn't see why, and I don't understand why. And if there is an exception that should go the other way, other than an extension of the time between runs, it should be reduced because they can't keep up with what they got. They need more buses. That is the Dexter. Thank you.
Any other comments about the service changes?
Sorry, I just got done eating. All right, my name Dennis Chambers. I personally ride the Cadillac Harper, so this is what I'm speaking on today. Well, basically for every route, I'm just speaking of every bus driver. You know, everybody have bad days. You know what I'm saying? That don't means to be ugly to people. Yeah, okay. Well, it's just about, this is about like bus drivers, period. And
Sir, your bus driver comment, we're gonna have to do that in a second portion, okay?
oh, well, I ain't got nothing. Okay.
We will get back to you though. So just a reminder for those online, that's the reason why we had to cut that short just because, again, we're focused right now on the public proposed service changes. But we will go back to the open comments after we do our community input portion. Was there anybody else here, again, that would like to speak on the proposed changes? That is, okay, so we are going to go back online. I thank those for the Oh, we thank those for their patience. We're going to try once again on our first person. Six nine 169.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello, 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 hello. It's echoing for me. I just want to say thank you all for praying for Brother Cunningham. Prayer is good, but getting money in Cunningham's hands is even better. He will buy bus.
We're gonna, again, we're still in the public hearing portion. We just did all our in-person, so we are going back virtually. So anyone with their hands up now need to talk about the proposed service changes, please. Caller user 1.
Can I be heard? Heard? I would love it if you can not slow down the Dexter and the Werner as this is needed during the morning and mid-afternoon. Many of us who are disabled or elderly, we rely on these buses. If you're going to have it as temporary, when does it go back to its regular schedule? Because the Dexter has already been Gotta fix your sound.
Sorry, the last portion got cut off. Do you mind restating your last portion? And also, will you please state your name for the record?
He just stated my name. I heard exactly what he said. Mr. Kramer. I said, why would you slow down the Dexter and the Werner when they are needed during the midday, considering your Dexter is skipping an hour of service daily with no warning, leaving the children, in many cases, stranded? Thank you.
Okay, that looks like that are all the callers that were online, so we can end this portion of the public hearing. Thank you for those who participated. We are now going to shift gears and go to the public community input meeting portion.
Deja vu. I want to make a couple, hearing the comments, I want to make a couple of responses or clarifications perhaps. So the first thing is that the bus requirement for this service change is actually going to be the same. So the scope of these changes actually does not even require a public hearing, but we're doing it to make sure people are well educated. really what the reason why the times are so different is what this represents is pulling basically one bus away from this service. So as you've pointed out, some of the routes go very far distances, some are much shorter. So not every route is created equal when it comes to how long it takes the bus to go. So it's one bus essentially we're taking out of that middle of the day, and that sets us up for success in the afternoon. If you think about the on-time performance of our routes, in the morning, pretty good. In the middle of the morning, pretty good. And then when you get past noon and you get into that early afternoon, that's when our on-time performance goes way down. And it's not even just about having enough buses, it's the way that our buses are interacting with one another. So that's why these are very targeted changes just right in the middle of the day. And so like 30 to 45 minutes, that's really only going to affect probably 1 or 2 trips that go through the middle of this route. So 9 to 2 is the longest. Some of these changes will actually be a smaller window in the middle of the day. Our goal with the new union contracts that are approved is we have a class of 50 from October that are in right now. We have 70 students that are going to start a class December 8th. And that is, drivers, with no drivers, we can't operate service, right? So that is going to really make a big difference. So right now today, yes, we're slowly bringing our bus availability up. We're actually about 25 drivers short of what we want to have our service and have an extra board. And the transit world extra board really is all about what gets you reliability, because drivers are entitled to take a day off. Sometimes it's vacation, sometimes it's unplanned, sometimes they get up and they just are feeling sick. They have a sick kid. They need to be able to do that. And we have to be prepared to be able to cover that. So these are some very precise changes in the middle of the day, that at the end of the day, our peak bus requirement is actually not going down as a result of these changes, but our reliability and the way that we change over in the middle of the day, I think that was kind of how it was described. That's the focus of these changes. The next opportunity after this, every quarter we have a run pick. So the next opportunity to go out to have a change would be April. By then we'll know a lot more about how the new contracts and these classes are impacting the driver availability. And by that point, we'll have 49 new buses will be on the road. That's 45 hybrids and 4 battery electric buses. Those will all be on the road, and we'll know a lot better, and we'll be ready to switch over to Coolidge, which changed some operational things as well. So we'll know a lot more heading to those April changes. We'll have an opportunity for hearings based on those changes when they get here. I just wanted to clarify a little, kind of sand around the edges a little bit about what this really means to the service, and why we're doing it, and how precise it is. Not to say that it's, especially Werner's the most glaring here, right? Having to wait 15 minutes longer. Also hear the point loud and clear that we need to do a better job when we change the schedule, or even to educate people about what the current schedule is. So that's something we need to do no matter what the changes might be as well. So just wanted to add a couple of clarifying comments. Do you have a question about something I just said? Yeah.
All going to be updated online?
Yes. Yeah. New schedules, the transit app, which we just, RTA helped us upgrade the transit app, Google's Maps, the DDOT app, all of those will reflect the actual schedules. Yes. Good question. Okay. So with that, I think we will finish the transition into the community input plan meeting, community input meeting. There is waters. If you need a water and you didn't get one, you can raise your hand. Some of our staff were kind of offering waters around there. There's also still some slices downstairs. If you want to go back for seconds, that's totally allowed. So yeah, I think we'll go to the slides. Yes. Would we post the changes at the stops? That's the question. Only, so just for Dexter, which is just Dexter. Yes, just for Dexter, yes. Yep. Yes, correct. You're talking about at the transit center? That shouldn't change. However you're catching the Dexter today. The only Dexter change is just in the middle of the route around, what's that, University of Detroit. Yeah, everything else stays the same. It's literally one block over instead of one block down, and that was based on our bus being able to safely navigate through that area. That's why we changed it, thinking it was an improvement. We realized it's actually creating other problems, so that's why we're changing it back. Okay. Do you want to go through the rules again? Okay. The biggest reminder is be respectful and kind, and understand that we're here to hear from you, and that's the most important part of those rules. Yeah, keep going. Yeah. Okay, so just a couple of updates to provide, and then we'll kind of open it back up for comments. We have tentative agreements that have been ratified with the bus drivers union. Also with AFSCME, which covers the mechanics, maintenance staff, and the supervisors over the drivers. We also have there's a union called the DDOT Foreman Union. It's a small union. It's just the foreman. They also have a tentative agreement that's been accepted. And all those are teed up. The city council is going to have an epic meeting next Tuesday. It's their last meeting of the year, but all of these will be on that meeting for their final approval. So it's been tentative agreement. Then it's the union membership votes on it. That's done. Now it's up to the city council for them to make it official. The raises will go in effect retroactively to July 1st. That's the way that the contracts work out. And basically the bottom line here is for bus operators, I might be mushing some slides together here, but for the bus operators, for maintenance, for foremen, all of this brings these positions up to have parity with other transit operators. That's Smart, Ann Arbor, Lansing. Yes. It's fantastic. It has a lot of implications. That alongside the new buses we're receiving this year and next is really giving us a huge opportunity to deliver on the constant requests for increasing DDOT without putting a specific number on it, increasing DDOT in a way that really makes it different for people that count on it and for residents across the city. The Transit Royale partnership, as I like to call the Transit Royale with cheese. Basically, I mentioned before, the Transit app is an app that's been free for a long time. I've used it for a long time. Of course, it's a business, so they want to make money. So they have an opportunity today. Well, today it's free now, but before this is you could actually, as an individual, say you want the Royale package. It's like $25 a year. There's another way you can go, and it gives you a longer list of options. It gives you more information about the routes, kind of gives you more than just the bare bones, because again, it's a business, they want to make money. There is an opportunity on the other way around where a provider in a region or a group of providers can actually pay Transit App and say, we're going to cover the cost for everyone to get this upgrade that otherwise they'd have to pay for themselves. And that's what's happened. So the RTA got some grant money. They've worked with People Mover, Q-Line, DDOT, Smart, Mogo, Scooter Company, Ann Arbor, The Ride. All of those are covered under Transit Royale. You don't have to do, you have to download the app to use the app. There's nothing else you have to do to accept this, to sign up for it. There's no codes or agreements. You're not going to start getting messages on your phone about free cruises or anything like that. It's going to have all the features there for you to use. And it's really actually my favorite part about this is it's like it kind of has a crowdsourcing element too. So if you use this, it can actually ask you questions. Was the bus on time? Was the bus clean? Did you feel safe? How was was it crowded? Were you able to get a seat? Is the stop handicap accessible? These are things that the app asks you, and then that feeds back to the providers to help us improve our experience as well. So it's a really good tool in both directions. RTA, again, was able to get the grant money to upgrade that for 3 years. For the next 3 years, if you haven't used it before, I'd recommend trying it out. It really helps. And I say the biggest improvement over the DDOT app is that it has all of the choices on it. And we know that most riders who use the system, or at least the majority of riders who use our systems, use both. This means it's going to tell you in priority order what your choices are to get around. You can also toggle things like if you want to bring a bike, you can say, I want suggestions on how I could actually bring my bike and put it on the bus as a way to extend my range as well. So there's a lot that's in there that really can help improve your experience and make it easier to use the systems that we have seamlessly. Okay. The East Jefferson platform. So if you ride the Jefferson route frequently or go along that corridor, you probably saw these platforms. They're kind of a resin composite platform. 16 of them are complete. We actually have the funding, the projects for 21, but the other 5 are in areas where there's other work, water main and stuff that's going to be happening in the next 6 months. So if we put them in, they'd have to be ripped out. So those are going to be basically in storage. Next year, once those projects are complete, we'll put them in. All 16 will have the platforms. They also have brand new shelters on the sidewalk side. They've got new bus stop signs. And then sometime in December, they will actually have little tablets that give you the next bus arrival time as well. What's nice on Jefferson is because the frequency is so high, that's a corridor where you really don't need to use a schedule. It's 10 minutes. Now with this change, there'll be one little part in the middle of the day where it's 12 minutes, but that's still something, if it's 15 minutes or less, it's something where you don't have to be triangulating out where on the schedule you're going to pick up the bus. And those tablets will give you another degree of certainty that it's coming soon. These are all things that the mayor really pushed for. Jefferson's a city street, so it allowed for a faster implementation. But these are all changes that, based on feedback and how they turn out, could be applied to other of the enhanced corridors that were in the DDOT Reimagine plan around the city, again, to improve the experience and to complement the higher frequencies and really make these enhanced in many levels, these corridors. But Jefferson's the first one, and really open to feedback. I know Ms. Marguerite had some feedback about how the platforms, how she would interact with the platform. So we are truly open to feedback on how these are working, good and bad, and see if there's any adjustments that we need to make or lessons to learn if we are going to implement these on other corridors. Sorry, I realize I'm not standing on the T anymore. Okay. Holiday reroutes. Okay, so the Christmas tree lighting, one of the most disruptive events of the year is the way that we look at it. That's going to be taking place on Friday. So it's starting tonight. Woodward between State and Congress is closed. It's been, feels like it's been closed for a little while too. Q line is already short stopping there. The Thanksgiving Day Parade and the Turkey Trot are Thursday, November 27th. The detours begin on the 26th. The reroutes will be posted on the website. We are not doing the short stop, I call it, service at Bricktown and using the people mover to go around. We're just adjusting the routes. So take a look at what's out there. But generally speaking, it's only going to be about targeted things that are stops that have to be missed downtown because of actual parade and Turkey Trot, et cetera, disruptions. Paratransit. So DDOT Now is not available on Sundays or holidays. This is a list of the city's observed holidays. This is only DDOT Now, which is the same day service paratransit eligibility, but it's the same day. It's an enhancement of paratransit service. So all of the regular paratransit still follows the precise schedule of all of the routes that they match up with. But for DDOT Now, which is an extra premium service, that is not available on Sundays and holidays currently. Okay, beginning Monday the 24th, passengers will be able to book a maximum of 3 trips per day. This is, again, all related still to DDOT Now. These are first come, first serve. The change will increase the availability for more passengers and decrease the hold times. And then a passenger that goes over their maximum of trips would look like going from home to destination, 1 to 2, and 2 to home. That would be 3 trips. So if you're taking DDOT Now to go from your house to someplace and then you return, that's 2 trips. Sounds like a round trip. That counts as 2 trips because that's 2 times we're sending a vehicle out to pick you up. 3 trips is going to be the daily limit. And again, that's to make sure we have a capacity of about 100 trips a day is what we have available based on the vehicles in the contract. And so that's to make sure that people can take advantage of it readily. Yeah, an advanced day, the regular paratransit advanced day remains unchanged. Nothing changes. It's only about DDOT Now. Okay. The new LAC meeting hours. Those of you who may have tuned into the LAC meeting this week, there was action taken to adjust the schedule, and the change is from the previous time of 10 a.m. and that was to noon. That was based on public feedback and also the members of the LAC trying to find the time that worked best for everyone's schedule for maximum participation. These are 4 meetings a year, but the most important thing to note is if you're used to tuning in at 10 o'clock, the meetings are now going to start at noon. They generally take about an hour and a half or 2 hours. They are worthwhile to join if you haven't joined one before. And they are fully virtual. Our upcoming meetings is none. There's no more meetings the rest of the year. December is a month we do not have a community input meeting. We would not have a public hearing for service change. And so the next virtual community input meeting will be in January of 2026 on Thursday, January 15th at 5 p.m. And then stay tuned again, based on what we kind of project out to do for the April service change. We'll certainly let everyone know when the public hearing date for that one would be once we schedule it. if necessary. I think the consensus of the room would be hopefully that would be necessary. And that's it. So now we'll turn it back over to all of you for the comments. These can relate to any. We're going to try to go online first since they had to wait and they were waiting. Okay. We may
And we're going to try again to our virtual users. Now, this is the regular community input meeting, so feel free to make your comments about whatever you feel, but you still have 2 minutes. So the first caller user one, you have 2 minutes.
Can I be heard?
Yes, go ahead.
So I'd like to ask Mr. Kramer, are you saying for same-day service? Are you only having where you can book a round trip that's considered 2 trips? If you need 3 is your max? That's my question. My next question is, when did it become your legal policy to block off at the Rosa Parks Transit Center across from the Linwood? You have it now gated off where people can't walk through to get on to the Dexter or to come in to the transit center as opposed to going around. When did that become a legal policy? When was the month, day, and year that became established? Finally, I'd like to have.
Okay, just to clarify, 1 round trip counts as 2 trips. And so that was the example of what 3 would be, is if you go from your house to Chuck E. Cheese, you go from Chuck E. Cheese to CVS, and you go from CVS to your house. That takes 3 trips. That would be the maximum. You can't go back home and then have to do another round trip. That would be 4 trips. That's too many. I got pizza on the brain. Thank you, Brother Cunningham. The second one is we did install, or actually we replaced what was previously a fenced off area. I'm looking at it myself here. It's the far southeast-ish corner of the bus bays. We did close off 1 opening there. That was based on safety. We had people that were coming there and walking across the pass of the bus. And so we have closed that off. You just have to walk around what used to be the fence that had the vines on it. And there's still an opening down there by the auxiliary building. But that one spot was very problematic from a safety standpoint. So that was the reason why we closed off that spot. But this transit center is still fully accessible and you can get to all of the stops and bays easily.
Okay, the next caller is ending in 169. If you're still there, you may proceed.
Okay. I just want to say, again, thank you all for praying for Brother Cunningham. Like I was saying, prayer is good. But getting money in Cunningham's hands is a little bit better. He will buy bus tickets and the things he needs to give out to the community. Everybody listening, Cunningham needs bus tickets, bus tickets, bus tickets. Cunningham needs hand warmers, hand warmers, hand warmers. Be creative, everybody. There's other ways to assist Cunningham in helping people. No money, no money, no money. Broke, broke, broke. Remember, Cunningham gets no revenue or pay. Thank you for my time.
The next person is Samsung M.
Greetings. My name is Ida Sankey, IDA, Sankey, SANKEY. I'm calling because I've had several incidences with DDOT paratransit same day. This Monday was the most recent event. The people booking the trip, not knowing about any changes that were just mentioned today, stopped me from making my 3 trips. They refused to take the address, left me out there for over 2 hours, and each time I called in was more than a 25-minute wait. And that's my comment. I just want them to do something. The people in charge seem to have an I would say I want to say they're abusing their booking privileges and pick who and choose who they want to, depend on the date. I will definitely comply to all rules, but for them to nitpick and pick and choose who they want to ride the service, I think is just really bad. Carter and Lakeisha were very rude to me, as well as calling regular DDOT. Brian had been so rude to me. I've actually been on hold for over 55 minutes just trying to get through, and I'm out trying to call in on option 2 the same day as a scheduled ride. So I hope they address that. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for your comment. We'll make sure someone follows up with you on that and address your concerns. Thank you.
The next caller is Sheila. Looks like the first name is Sheila Stripling.
Hi. I had put my questions in the chat. I agree with most people. The Dexter is a long ride anyway, and if you reroute it, maybe if you can tell to shorten the time it takes to go from downtown Detroit to Evergreen would be appreciated. But yet I want to know with the um new process, how is the technology? Because I get dismayed by missing the bus. Um, it only given to trained bus drivers for customer response service or customer considerations. Also, when even with the smart, how in line will that be when you are going out of Wayne County?
Anybody answer the chat? Anybody answer the chat? Do you want to go? She said it's in the chat. Do you want to just later?
Yeah. Well, I just asked one question. That's connectivity between DDOT routes and smarts. How will they be affected? You mentioned about buses not being ready, but sometimes from a rider perspective, I see 3 Grand Rivers coming like less than 5 minutes back to back. Someone is either behind or late. So it's technology being used other than showing where it is on the route finder, but yet in its timing, who done messed up, who didn't take their break on time. I mean, some consistency. I'm asking what place already, and you're making changes. You know, can you hire more companies to clean the buses? or person?
Thank you for the comments. Yes, so for the connection with the smart routes, these are pretty limited in change for the schedule, so we don't anticipate any major misconnections with the smart routes. Generally speaking, we do have technology. It's called computer-aided dispatch automatic vehicle locator. It's a Clever is the brand of the system. It's the same system that Smart uses. That's what we use to monitor the buses that are on the road. We also have road supervisors that are out there, and we have a crew at the terminals that's helping get the buses out. Those are areas where we need to do better. If there's buses that are bunched up, it means that we are not effectively getting those buses to spread out, put them in place. When you're not running on time, then that creates more, kind of amplifies that because you have more people waiting for the buses that are catching up. And so that is something that we're aware of, and that's on our whole operations team to smooth those out in real time as they happen. But we do have technology that does it. We have a lot of room we can improve there.
Thank you. Our next caller is Michael Slaughter. You may be heard.
Hello. Huge fight, and Deadpool's just kind of being absolutely insane.
We hear you, but we hear your background.
This is what Priest Deadpool, right? Is it?
I just wanted to know, are y'all gonna be doing anything like as far as getting charging on the bus? I see some buses have charging stations, but yeah, we need to be able to charge our phones on the bus. I just wanted to know, is there going to be any changes towards the charging on the buses or Wi-Fi on the bus?
I can address that. So the new buses have charging ports, if I'm not totally mistaken. So that's basically as the buses are replaced, they will have those on there. And Wi-Fi is something we're continuing to work on, but no specifics as far as exactly how many buses, but those are both things they're working to add.
The final check, I believe we reached everyone that was online, but if we did not get to you, if you have not spoken yet, please raise your hand now. Okay, we are going to move to in person.
Hello, everyone. Brian McCullough here again. I know there's been a lot of discussion specific to the Dexter bus. I haven't rode it regularly in some time as I used to, but my comment is really about Dexter. Why are there no stops between WC3 and Outer Drive and McNichols? I mean, you guys made this change like 3 months ago. It will save me almost a mile of walking between those 2 points if there were additional stops in that stretch.
I'll offer anyone from scheduling or planning. You want to answer, Steve?
Yeah. This case, if there is a specific corner where you would like a stop, please make a request formally. When we were going through this change with the public and with that council district out there, the homeowners were very concerned and about stops being in people's front yards. But if there is a specific location where you would like a stop, please let us know what that is, and we can see if there's a suitable place to put it.
You know, I kind of say that answer kind of falls flat at me because there are homeowners all up and down Outer Drive. That doesn't seem to be a problem for anybody else on Outer Drive. And if you're going to run the bus there, and this is not an express service route we're talking about, if you're going to run a bus there, there should be stops along there. I should not be here having to ask for a specific stop. That's backwards. You guys made the change. You guys set it up. You guys need to come up with some stops.
Can you restate the between street and street?
WC3 and Turn on McNichols.
Okay. We'll take a look. Cunning. Go ahead.
My name's Rochelle Bono. I just wanted to know who's supposed to be in charge of making sure the bus stops are clear of snow and making sure that you can actually access the bus stop. Is that the city or is that something that the bus line deals with?
So it's a good question. So we have over 5,000 stops, and speaking from my experience at DDOT and at SMART, it is a challenge. Technically, legally speaking, snow clearance is actually the responsibility of the property owner that's next to it. But we do work with GSD, which is the General Services Department. It's a city department. They're the ones that help us maintain and clear the bus stops that are the heaviest boardings. Like the picture was up here about the Jefferson boarding platforms. Those are something we need to make sure stay clear because snow could pile up there. So it's a combination.
For instance, like over where I'm at, these plow trucks, they'll plow the street and they push them right. I mean, it's right up on the bus stop. There'll be this much of the bus stop sign that's covered in snow.
Right.
You know, so it's like how am I, you know, so I understand doing the main ones, but you know.
Yeah, no, it's a really fair question. As someone who's cleaned my own bus stop with a shovel in the past.
Maybe partner or talk with who's ever plowing the streets to make sure that they're being mindful of the bus
Yeah.
stops and not piling snow up to them.
It is a reasonable ask for us to make. There's also, if you, during snow, the drivers are trained that if you need to go to the next spot that's cleared, whether it be a driveway or a cross street and flag the bus down there, that is what they're trained to do. I know that is not the,
Because they'll just pass us up if we're not,
Right.
they will pass up.
Right.
Even if they're trained, they'll just pass right up.
okay, well,
Say you weren't at the stop.
we need you to let us know when that happens.
Well, I do whenever I complain, like even when I get a reference number, it's never resolved, never followed up, no matter what kind of complaints it is.
Okay.
This goes on for years. So filing complaint does not do anything.
Jenny's going to give you her number and we'll make sure that we give a special attention because if you're experiencing it, there's other people that could too.
Right.
And I know that it sounds kind of like sounds like an incomplete answer to say that we cannot shovel 5,000 stops, but that's legit. We can't.
Yeah.
And I could ask Wayne County or the cities and not plow snow up there, but we know that that's not going to happen if they have to plow all the streets. So I don't have a good answer, but I'm trying to be honest. But yeah, Jenny will make sure if people are passing you up, drivers are passing you up for any reason, especially if there's snow, we want to know and address them when we hear. Okay.
Yeah, and I just want to add to your point. I know we have a lot, but right now, as we're working with GSD and just in general to make sure that there's special attention on the locations that have been missed. Although we can't get to everything, they will put special attention this year and make a larger plan, and we are working on that. So
Yep.
yeah, just let us know. Submit it. You guys have my email, and I'll put it in the chat to make sure that if there are other locations in the same situation, then we can make sure that GSD expands that. So no problem.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hi. First thing I want to do is just tell you how lovely it is to have this meeting in person. I realize it takes you guys more work to do so, but it really is nice to see all your faces and all your hard work. And I realize getting here, it's a lot of equipment to bring, everything else. However, whenever you can do an in-person meeting and having the virtual available, it really is appreciated. It's just, I don't know, it kind of binds us a little bit together. And, you know, we kind of all feel like we're in the same road, if you will. Second thing is I appreciate making changes to Jefferson. And yes, I love the frequency. I love the frequency. I can say that all day. However, if we're talking about making it faster, making it run better, maybe fewer bus stops. I don't know if that's something to think about. And I realize that's touchy. You don't want to grab the wrong one. I'm just throwing one out there, not the one near my house, but the one that's near the Jeep plant is a thought because along the Jeep plants, there's not a whole lot of people grabbing the bus there. That might be one or two to take out around there. You might, get some. I realize not in front of the senior buildings around the corner from where I live either, but anyway, it's something to think about. And the last thing is I'm still having a problem with the Van Dyke Lafayette not leaving on time. When I say not leaving on time, out of Rosa Parks in the evening. So I'm getting more specific with the requests. So sometimes that might be something to address. I can start making individual complaints, but I was just hoping we can just kind of take care of that, because waiting an extra 10 minutes for your bus may not sound like a lot, but when I'm done at the end of the day, I'm itching to get out. But on that, once again, lovely to see all of you, and thanks for running crazy traffic. So thank you.
I was just briefly about the idea for limited stops. Definitely, I'm sure if we took a vote, it'd probably be 50-50 in this room of yes, that's a good idea, or no, please do not do that. So I think for the future, that's certainly something to consider. Is the idea is looking at, are there ways to have, so like, again, I've worked at Smart, so it's part of my experience, but the Smart fast routes were overlaid on top of local service. So we had high quality local service, and then the Smart fast came over the top of that. So, that could be an option, but then if you're taking the same number of buses, then that means you'd have 20-minute and 20-minute of express and local. Again, that's just the simple math. We didn't really analyze it. So it really is a legitimate, especially on a route that's longer than Jefferson. Jefferson's a pretty short route, so the difference between those two services is not going to be as much. If you talk about Grand River, which is like the longest line you can draw across the city, having a 2 layers of service may really actually increase, especially people coming from Old Redford or Brightmoor all the way downtown. You might be able to save 10 or 15 minutes. But again, that's at the expense of having to kind of pick between the two. So clearly that's something that is on our mind and that we think about. And it's a fine line balance. But as we work to add more service, if we're going toward the goal of, increasing the service of DDOT by a multiple of something, that it does provide opportunities for us to see if there's things where we can layer services on top like that without having to say we have to go to 45-minute frequency or something crazy like that. So there's my thought bubble about that, but it is a good discussion for us to keep having with feedback from the passengers about how it would impact them. Next. In the back, yes.
Oh, I guess, my name is Timothy Schultz. Some of the comments I just want to make is I think that, DDOT actually is doing a good job. I feel like I've seen some of the changes that they did make far as changing the Dexter. It's not necessarily turning all the way back around and going through. And also now late at nighttime, instead of just the Grand River getting me down and a certain area, now the Dexter bus also come there. Also feel like, it's good. Like, just like the frequency to me is really good. A lot of times I go to, like my Google Maps, and, what I noticed that a lot of times they do a good job of trying to actually be on time. Now, I understand that, there's certain parts of the day, like you kind of explained, but you are, coming up with a way to try to, keep that persistent frequency, throughout the day. Only thing I say is that could make things better would be I like that y'all got like the USB ports on the buses, stuff like that, and Wi-Fi. People need to sometimes have access to their phone. The only thing that I say is that I don't know who may need to know if they're there's sometimes you go on the bus and most of the ports are not working, and if there's more bus drivers can just know hey, if there's a bus that most of the USB ports not working, just do a write-up or something like that, let us know the issue with the bus, so we can keep this standard, because I think that we got enough to be great, it's just just more knowing about the ports when they not actually working, when most of them not working on the bus. But it's good when they do work.
Thank you for those comments. And that, I think certainly that'll be feedback for maintenance. Maybe do a regular check and check when the ports are, then we'll know to fix them rather than waiting for people to say, hey, these are all broken. So that's a very good comment. Appreciate that. Yeah.
My name's Chet Perry. I just want to.
Oh.
worked illegally. It took forever to even find an illegal place for. I want to say this, because I came here, for your last meeting, or no, when you had a demonstration, and the guards, they would not even let me use the bathroom unless I took all my keys off. I said, just warn me, so I don't have to take these keys, they, clip on. And just now, same thing, would not warn me till I took the keys off, laid everything down, I'm still making noise. So then he picks up his wand, which is right there, and starts wanting me. But they don't treat people right here. I only got to use the bathroom last time when I came because the guy in the office came out and said, well, let her use the bathroom. And they didn't know anything about the demonstration. Actually, I missed that. It was, I got at the end of it, but it was way out front. They didn't even know what was going on. But you gotta get people that care about the people here, that really are socially oriented to be nice to people. Anyway, I'm sorry, I forgot my hearing.
Thank you.
The Board Street, my friend has privilege.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. My name's Chet Perry. I just want to say, with the bus drivers, lately they've been pretty good with me, but and some nice ones out here. Then you got some rude ones. But wanted to say, do y'all have like meetings for some of these drivers that sometimes don't deal right with the public,
So is your request, do we meet with the drivers? If we have complaints about them, that we do meet with them? Are you talking about more proactive, maybe? So they do, as part of their training, and it's part of the refresher training, which that's where really you're going to be leaning into that. What's really nice about these new union contracts is now hopefully we can get away from 40 and 50% turnover and be able to really invest in drivers and have them stay longer. And so then each time you have that refresher training, it helps them be safer drivers, it helps them with kind of tuning up their customer experience skills. And that's actually something you can program in. We have a bus simulator, and that's actually something you can program into the simulator, something that increases their thought process of how to deal with passengers, de-escalation training. So yeah, that's part of the curriculum we have. And again, moving forward to be able to spend more time on that without having to max out classes of 70 and students every month.
Yes, I know they deal with a lot.
Yeah, it is a really tough job. It's something that, I can say the drivers, the toughest job. I've said that in front of our maintenance workers too. They maybe didn't appreciate that so much, but the drivers are the toughest job we have. And the other thing too, when you think about, well, we need a driver that can have a CDL and is an expert operator of the equipment. Really, the toughest part of that job is they need to be customer service focused. If they don't like dealing with the public, they could be, they could be the world's greatest bus driver. They're not going to be the best bus driver. They're going to be the best, equipment driver. But we need people who really have the patience and the passion. And there's so many of the drivers that have this incredible pride. They know what impact they make on people getting them around. So that is some little insight from my brain, but that's something with the refresher training and our training we have is really focused on the customer service part. We want them to be safe. That's important too. But we really need them to be focused on having a good impact on customers, which can be really challenging because sometimes you're getting 50 people's worst day. There's no place else for you to go as a driver than to be able to support them. And thank you for your patience to make your comment. Appreciate that.
Yes, hi. My name is Mark. I'd like to reiterate, like, can y'all expand the buses? Because you got like almost 2,000 kids that's getting out of school. A lot of these regular buses, they can't hold a lot of the students. And then my other concern is, can y'all try to eliminate the people that's intoxicated into the bus drivers? Because the bus drivers, they're trying to do their jobs, and it's people that's intoxicated trying to argue with the bus drivers, and we trying to get home and work in some other places.
Yeah, so the two comments, we have been continuing to work really closely with Chief Bedison and DPD and our dispatchers to make sure we can get quick response. And we know that the bus drivers obviously want to be safe. They deserve to go home to their families every day in one piece, but they also do feel the impact. They know that when there's somebody making trouble on the bus, that the rest of the passengers are suffering too because they're not getting where they need to go to. So it's important for us to keep supporting them with that and making sure we can get that quick response. The new camera system that we have that's going to be going in by the middle of next year offers more cameras alongside not more cameras, but higher definition on the cameras so that if we have repeat offenders, so to speak, it gives us more tools to be able to help with the code of conduct to address those as well. Because we know for the most part, people just want to go where they need to get, and the drivers want to be able to take people where they need to go to. So appreciate that. And then for the service expansion, these contracts are going to be really important. And it sounds like a broken record. So I'm hoping that soon this will turn into the service changes we say it's going to. But by having more skilled mechanics and less turnover, more experienced drivers on the road, that's going to help us be able to increase the service. Earlier this year, we increased service twice, 5%, 5%. We want to get back to that pace where every quarter we're increasing 5% or more. And we feel like with these contracts, it's going to give us the path we need to get there. Brother Cunningham, you had your hand up earlier, and Mr. Pulowski.
You hold it up. Thank everyone for this meeting today. Put extra time and effort everyone did, and I just appreciate it. And I've been praying all day. I seen a sign said "prayed up," so I've been praying all day. Just hoping it was good. Me and Miss Rochella, thank her for we canvassed, and we both handicapped, both disabled. We was hurting, but we did it. So the Dexter, I noticed in my taxi cab, I can park over there now and get customers. It's a more influx with the Dexter bus. They're getting the end of the line. So you got the Grand River, then you got 7 Mile. So it's another spot for me to park in case someone wants to get or give out bus tickets and hand warmers, which you said you had some hand warmers for me in the car. But I think they're making improvement. You're making improvements. And if anyone's listening with some power and some money, is there any way that we could get the broken Wi-Fi on these buses, even the older ones, fixed? And even the older buses, if the USB ports can be fixed, and then on the buses, and then the towers, they're back for the employees right now. But I remember when Dan Dirks was around, we first got those little power towers to charge up the phone. Can we get a couple of them? But for Hargrove, there's plugs they can plug into as well, but like on the outside, on the inside. And because we're in an urban area, we got to know in advance they're going to tear it up. They're going to tear it up. We'll give it a year. They're going to tear it up. Is there any way we can have insurance on it or build it into the plan to repair it? We have to actually meet people where they at and just meet them where they at. They're going to tear it up. So is there any way we can build into the purchase of fixing all the ports on the buses and the Wi-Fi that they're going to tear it up? If anybody wants to reach out with bus tickets or hand warmers, 313-444-9114, 313-444-9114, 313-444-9114. That number was made so you can remember it. And thank you, and God bless everybody.
Thank you. I'll make my comments brief just because I kind of addressed a little bit earlier. I did want to point out regarding the paratransit, it's kind of sad to see that there's not going to be any service on holidays from what it saw, and a little. Just the same day?
Only same day DDOT Now service.
Okay.
I'm only interrupting you because that's very important. Paratransit is anytime you can use the bus, you have to be able to use paratransit. That's what we're committed to, and it's the law.
Okay, I had a little bit of a mix up there, but that's all right.
Okay.
It's a little bit new service, so we all learn from something. Second piece, I wanted to thank the DDOT administration and the partnership for Brother Cunningham to be able to put on this in-person meeting, be able to do raffles, engage with the community, because this is what we need as an agency to be able to care for our riders, be able to show them that, you know, this is a committed mission to be able to improve service long-term. So I'm very happy to see that this partnership has worked out. Maybe we can do something like this in the future, but something bigger and better. But we do have to start having it more at different locations. I would love to see more hearings at other locations other than just Rosa Parks Transit Center, maybe flopping around the way they do at nightly city council meetings. You know, there's areas in 48217 that we could host DDOT community input meetings. You know, maybe we could do partnerships like with the pizza and the raffles, or we could go to different areas and community centers that are hosted, libraries, you know, because yes, this is centralized location, but we also got to start bouncing around in the community to make sure that DDOT is hitting every resident here in the city. So that's just my take. And I appreciate all the time and consideration with the service changes, the work you guys are doing. And again, thank you. Have a good holiday and good luck. Thank you.
So just to respond briefly before Lucas goes. So this is about the input. So we have a community input bus that we're hoping to resurrect and have kind of a traveling road show of sorts. So it doesn't always have to be, this is like a really heavy duty meeting, right? We've got hybrid, we've got the Zoom Teams thing, we've got camera recording, like, cause this counts as an official public hearing. What we're hoping to do is something that Jen's been working on and pushing for is find ways to meet people where they are, because really you all don't care if it's an official public hearing or if you just want to be heard. And this is a transit center and it's a lot of routes come here. So this is a really convenient place to come to. But if we can sprinkle our experience around the city, that's even better because we can meet people out where they're at. And we do on-board interactions and bus stops. We have staff that do that periodically as well. But I think it's a good suggestion. But I wanted to clarify, it will not be the heavy duty setup. We want to do more, but have them be kind of the lighter touch to meet people out in the system. Lucas.
Thank you. I have a couple of things to address, but I'll try and make it quick as ever. First, you mentioned that the improved stops on Jefferson would get display boards to show next stop arrival times. Are you by chance getting those from Connect Point? Okay. Just something to keep in mind. I know Smartest had a lot of maintenance issues with those. I hope that's not a problem for DDOT, just something to keep on your radar in case it does become a thing. But in any case, that's exciting to get anytime you can get more information in the hands of more people, it's cool. And on that note, secondly, about the holiday detours, do you have a plan to communicate those? Because, I mean, I know you have a plan, but I guess what I'm asking is, in the past, I've noticed that DDOT has sort of left riders in the dark on detours, specifically with the alert function of the GTFS. That I don't think I've ever seen something like that go out from DDOT, where you can put an alert on a route that will appear in the transit app and the Google Maps. And I would appreciate if DDOT could make an effort to make that happen for holiday detours. Okay.
Yeah, we can do stuff through the bus tracker. The transit app and the Google Maps alerts, you have to, so for smart people move for a queue line, that's what Swiftly adds, which DDOT does not have Swiftly currently. It adds that extra, like, really easy way where you can just type stuff in and say, you know, pizza party at the transit center, and it'll send it out and you can do stop stuff. But yes, that's what Steve mentioned was that's within Clever. Clever is linked to our app closely enough that that's where we'd be able to put those alerts in. But I'm really interested to see if we can't, for major things like that, if we can't work with Transit app and kind of find, again, it wouldn't be for everything that happens every minute of every day, but for major events like that, is work with them and see if there's another way we can add that to the Transit app as well.
It's my understanding that the fancy function of being able to draw on the detoured routes in the app is exclusive to Swiftly customers. I wasn't sure if Clever had a similar function, but it seems like from what you're saying, it's a little harder to use than it is with Swiftly.
Well, it's harder to turn that into a proper GTFS real-time feed. That's the difference. Is Swiftly puts it in the right package to blast it out to all the apps that would use it. Whereas the Clever one works within the Clever infrastructure, which includes our app. That's the difference.
Gotcha. Sorry, everyone, for all the nerd talk. I guess the last question is, I sort of picked up from the way you were talking about Transit app that you're making that the official DDOT app, and the DDOT app that currently exists is being phased out. Is that a
No,
correct
we
assumption?
haven't made any decision on that. And that's there. I think there's strengths of both of them, but I think for me, it's educating people about that Transit app is there. Because if you use more than just DDOT as a system, it's going to give you a better experience. And now you can buy the DART pass right within it. So now instead of having to have a separate app just to be able to buy the DART pass, you can do that in token, or you can do that through the Transit app anyway. Yeah.
I think I agree with everything you said. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you.
Hi, Bernard Mashinsky, Detroit People's Platform, and also a daily bus rider, legacy rider. I wanted to expound on this gentleman's question earlier about expanding service during like the afternoon hours. I think he was trying to say and I wanted to also be on record and saying this too, to use the 60-foot articulated buses during the peak hours. Because during like when the kids get out of school or high school and stuff, the buses are packed like in the afternoon hours, and you're forcing a lot of people on those 40-foot coaches instead of the 60 feet. But around 7 to 8 or 9 o'clock at night, I would see them being used when it's like 5 people on a bus. So just smarter dispatching of those articulated buses so that people can have more room. That way there's less conflict, and you know how kids can be rowdy and stuff like that too. As a former teenager that rode that bus, so long time ago. But anyways, the other issue is too is just clearly marking on the buses if they have Wi-Fi and what network, because I am able to use it. It works pretty well, but you got to go through the network list, but the buses don't tell you it's active. So just better communication about that. That's it.
Thank you. Making note of your comment about articulated buses. Generally speaking, I just wanted to say is that when you put a bus out, it's for its entire piece of work, which is like 8 or 10 hours. But there may be some ways for us to really target. Maybe we do some creative work of swapping out some buses in real time for those school trips. It's a good thought. And I know that I feel like the articulated buses are kind of polarizing too. Some people think that they're way too big, and other people think we need a lot more of them. So is there anyone else? Oh, Mr. Rochella, yes. Oh, okay. Oh, you all just holding out to the end. I see. Okay.
I just want to say thank you to you, to the mayor, to call y'all getting together and getting the wages done for the bus drivers, your agreements with the mechanics, getting the supervisors and them together. Because, if one is getting something, the other one is looking for something too.
Yes.
And I'll be glad to see today where it's across the board and you don't have that issue no more, because like I said, if we pay them right, they'll stay. They'll retire. We'll have a full force of people that's just going to be here when we need them. I want to thank you for everything you do. I know these changes, they're looking at it saying it's bad. No, he's trying to make sure it's there when it's needed at that time, when there's so many people traveling at that time. But I want to thank you. I want to be glad when I see that Coolidge terminal open next year. It's been a long time coming. It's needed badly, y'all. You just don't know. See, I was brown with that Coolidge terminal. It's going to be big. It's going to hold enough buses. And by that time, we'll have enough buses in here, and hopefully we'll be running smoothly as we should be. I thank you, and I'm going to pass it to you.
We'll pass it to All right. Well, I have 3 questions and 2 comments. How do you want them? I can make the comments first.
Comments first, yes.
Comments first. Well, the first comment is not actually for DDOT. It's for the bus riders. When it comes to things like bus bunching and other problems, it's on us to let DDOT know what's going on. Because I don't care how many supervisors you got out there, they can't be everywhere at all the time. And if you don't know about a problem, how in the hell are you going to fix it? And when it comes to complaints, if you got something where there's 2 complaints and another issue where there's 25 complaints, which one you think they're going to push first? 25. So when you see something, complain. I see things on Grand River that I complain about, but I'm waiting on the Wyoming bus. Okay, that's one. The other comment is about the bus stops on the new Dexter route. All right, when it comes to residential property, that part between the sidewalk and the street, the curb, that does not belong to the property owner. That belongs to the city. That's called burn. And as a 60-year property owner of various types, trust me, they make you pay for it and they penalize you if you don't keep it up.
It's true.
All right. Now, for my questions. One is, when it comes to the proposed new code of conduct for riders, when will there be a hearing? And if you don't know, can you tell us where in the administrative process it is? Yes.
So Jenny Whitfield, Deputy Director. So as you know, the ordinance has been passed. The policy is something that we're taking very serious. You guys had some really good comments, especially as it pertained to the appeals process, how we get in touch with people that do not have an address, things of that nature that we are doing some research on and seeing how other municipalities are handling it. And so we'd rather take additional time to look into it as opposed to just putting something together and rushing it. So right now we've proposed coming to you guys in January since we don't have a meeting in December. So that's when we will have our next meeting and you'll see what we are proposing for you guys. And then the following, what is it? It'll be January. It'll probably be like 2 weeks after our meeting here. So the third week that we have our community input meeting is when you'll see the proposed new policy. And then we'll follow up with council to actually have the hearing. So all of that is coming in January.
That was one question. Thank you for that answer. Okay.
Number two.
Number two is when it comes to DDOT Reimagine, is there any reasonable likelihood that in the foreseeably near future we will get back on track to heading up to that program, or is that scrapped or what?
I would say, I think I was hinting at this earlier, if the buses and drivers progress like I think they will with the new contract, we can resume what we had started this year was 5% per quarter. And those are in the direction of the DDOT Reimagine, but obviously we're taking a look each time before we just take something and put it in place. We're going to say, is there any adjustments we need to make? We'll bring it back for a public hearing. But that's the goal, is if we can get back to having enough drivers and buses, then 5% each quarter.
Okay. And the last question, and this pertains to a matter of politics, so to speak. The Wayne County ballot proposal.
I think we're out of time. No.
Are there any plans, presuming two things? One, that the new mayor keeps you on, which I think is a reasonable likelihood. Two, that the ballot proposal passes. Is DDOT have any tentative or exploratory plans for extending into the suburbs that would cover Wayne County?
Okay, so I would say that if the ballot initiative doesn't pass, that will be a big problem, because basically Wayne County is in or out. And so if the budget does not pass, that means that all of SMART's funding from Wayne County will go to zero. So we will have much bigger problems if that happens, because the systems support each other. As far as specific plans for routes and stops expanding into different communities, we do not have any of those, but we do have a dialogue with Wayne County to continue to discuss with them what they're thinking. So obviously they've got some work to do to talk about what this new investment, assuming it passes, would mean for all of their communities. Detroit is the biggest community in Wayne County, even though previously they haven't been part of the Smart Millage. This changes the whole dynamic. So I don't have any specific plans. So the answer to your question is no, I do not have specific plans to take over Livonia, but those conversations with Wayne County are going to continue to happen, and it'll be thinking about whether it's DDOT or SMART or who knows what, where are those dollars going to go and what will the action improvements look like? That needs to be ironed out. So they've got about, they've got about, 10 months before, if it's going to be in August, it's going to be in August, probably 10 months before people are going to vote, maybe 8 months because the absentees go out in July. So it's going to come up pretty quick. But we know Wayne County really wants to make sure that if that comes to fruition, it's going to make a big impact on the whole county, including Detroit. So there's a political answer for a political question, but we are engaged with them, and they do know how important it's going to be for all their communities. I don't know I'm assuming in the past, Smart's been on the primary ballot. What's that? Smart has always been on the primary ballot. Maybe they didn't list last time around, but previous to when I was there and before that, it's always been on the primary ballot.
But that, what I can be law and established Smart specifically excluded the city of Detroit.
Right. So I'll answer this and then we can talk more offline if you want to, but the taxing authority is not Smart. Smart, part of what enabled Smart actually gives them no power to raise any money whatsoever. So they are beholden to whatever the people who want to participate in Smart come up with. And so the Wayne County Transportation Authority, the 196 Authority, that they are able to raise funds, they are not the same as Smart. So it is up to them to do that. And then they can decide, like in Oakland County, they went countywide just as a county millage. They have a whole department now that talks about how they want to invest those dollars in various transportation initiatives. Wayne County's got to figure out how they want to do that. Yes. Oh, the raffle, of course. That's why everyone's still here. I see. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Is there anyone that still wants to make comment online? Oh, okay, good. Then yeah, we can conclude online. Thank you for tuning in. Next time, if you come in person, maybe you'll have a chance to win a raffle. Okay, who wants to come draw a number to make this legit still? Wait, hold on.
007.
007.